Zone Podcast. My name is Farzin Vasugian. Appreciate you guys joining me on this Christmas night edition of the Chiefs Zone. Got a lot of you guys tuning in right now. Appreciate you guys joining me. The Chiefs fell in this one. It was much closer than we anticipated. If you went under on the over-under, you got that correct. Otherwise, boy, there was... this was not the game that I thought it was going to be. All week long, I kept calling it a Christmas massacre. That's what I thought it was going to be. And the Chiefs, they stood strong in this game. I mean, they fought till the very end. Remember in the past when the Chiefs were Super Bowl contenders and they had all these close, ugly wins, I guess is what people like to call it. Are people going to say that now about the Broncos? Is this not an ugly win, or is this a great win for the Broncos? Yeah, let's see how that narrative goes. But nonetheless, a win is a win and a loss is a loss. And the Chiefs, they fell in this one. Again, much closer than people thought it was going to be. 20-13, the final in this one here. I know there are a lot of thoughts here, so we do have the link for you guys to call in. That is in the chat right there. All you have to do is click on the link, turn on your audio, your video, put in your name, and let's chat it up afterwards. And let's get right to it. There's a lot to talk about here in this one. Some of you guys are happy. Some of you guys not so much. I think, in these close situations, you've got to find a way to pull through. And on that fourth down play right there, Chris Jones jumping when he didn't need to. It was just head movement from the center. And I'm sure it was very intentional from Denver's side. The backup center who filled in there, he got Chris Jones to jump. A backup center got Chris Jones, a 10-year vet who's making the most money by any defensive tackle of all time, to jump up. Now, some of you guys are perfectly fine with that. I saw a lot of you guys saying that Chris Jones is embracing the tank, all of that stuff. So I guess it just kind of depends how you feel about that right there. Some feel great about it, some not so much. But that is how Kansas City on the defensive side. And listen, I thought Kansas City actually played well defensively. I know Denver's offense very inconsistent this season. You heard Kirk Herbstreit and Al Michaels talk about some of the inefficiencies on Denver's offense all year long. But this is a 13-win football team, a team that's competing for the number one seed. Right now, they have the best record in the NFL. Obviously, there are a lot of teams that have yet to play this weekend, but for now, they've got the most wins. And Kansas City's defense stood strong, did not allow a touchdown the entire first half. And I think that's been, the defense has had its woes this year, but they've done a really good job limiting teams for the most part when it comes to scoring this season. The offense just hasn't returned the favor, whether it's Chris Oladokun, Gardner Minshew, Patrick Mahomes. That's been the issue all year long. And we have gone over that ad nauseum this year with the offense. And I'll get into the offense shortly because I thought, their late game situation certainly did not help at all with the delay of game penalty off a spike. I mean, what are we doing? What's going on there? But as far as this Chiefs team defensively, I mean, Chris Jones in recent games does not know what to do before the snap, not lining up correctly, jumping the snap early. This is a guy who's getting paid way too much. He's been around the league way too long. He is the leader of this defense. He's the most tenured player on this defense. He cannot afford to make mistakes like that consistently. And that's been, and I know we've seen a lot of this more on the offensive side than the defensive side, but I said this on the podcast after the game against Tennessee. This is an undisciplined football team. We're seeing repeated mistakes. Again, more so on the offensive side than the defensive side, but man, it's tallying up right now. The number of repeated mistakes happening over and over and over and over again. This coaching staff has not held their players accountable. They just haven't. You guys cannot convince me otherwise. I know a lot of you guys love to, well, not a lot of you, some of you love to push back and say, oh, the coaches aren't on the field. Yeah, no shit. I'm aware of that. I know how football works. I know how coaching works. There's a reason why coaches get hired and fired. Whenever your players make mistakes, it is a coach's responsibility to, as Andy Reid has said many times, stop me if you've heard this. Wait for it. Clean it up. Clean it up. They've been doing that's Andy Reid's motto on repeat. It's been Control C, Control V all year long. Clean it up. Clean up those mistakes. Oh boy. Yeah. Clean it up. I mean, listen, you can't sit here and talk about, oh, well, a lot of starters were gone because no Trent McDuffie, no Jalen Watson. Again, I know the Broncos are not world beaters on offense, but the Chiefs had a lot of guys missing on both sides of the football. Denver should have scored way more than 20 points in this game. Now, listen, they won. Good for them. You never apologize for winning in the NFL. But Kansas City defensively, I thought, played great. No Trent McDuffie, no Jalen Watson, Noel Williams, a rookie going out there playing real well. Christian Fulton, who was inactive for so many games this year, he's actually not looking bad at all. I think Kansas City could have maybe used him for some games this year. The pass rush got to Bo Nix in this one a few times. Like, Kansas City defensively did not play bad at all. No touchdowns allowed in the first half. 2 allowed in the second half, unfortunately, but it's not like, Denver was lighting it up. Kansas City's only touchdown in this game, it was with great field position at the 35-yard line. Now, Chris Oladokun, give him credit, a guy with no starting experience whatsoever in his career, got down the field late in the game, gave them an opportunity. But what happened? You spike the football, and then suddenly you get hit with this delay of game penalty. What is going on offense? Every week I tell myself this offense cannot get any worse. And then they make this dumbass mistake. Like a delay of game penalty off a spike. The only thing worse than a delay of game penalty off a spike is a delay of game penalty off a timeout or a 2-minute warning. Or after the opposing kickoff. Like, how does that happen? And I heard Kirk Herbstreit making excuses. Oh, well, they're tired. No, you just spiked the football. You had a moment to collect your breath. You knew what kind of a drive this was going to be. And listen, it's not like the Chiefs offense, and I'm pulling up the numbers right now. It's not like the Chiefs offense were gassed out this entire game. Time of possession in this one for Kansas City, again, for the second week in a row, about double the amount in favor of the opposing team. Kansas City only had the football for 20 minutes and 32 seconds. Denver, 39 minutes, 28 seconds. So damn near double the amount. The Chiefs only ran 42 plays in this game. So I don't want to hear any BS about, oh, they were tired. No, you were coming off a spike, and you've barely been on the field in this game. I mean, the mistakes this team's making from coaching, the personnel, it doesn't make any sense at all. And you know what the crazy part is? I thought this was, as the game went on, I thought this was the most winnable game for Kansas City. This was the one game where I was like, there's no way in hell the Chiefs are going to win, even before the Patrick Mahomes injury. And then you have Gardner Minshew, and the Chiefs are, 13.5-point underdogs? I mean, they were close. And listen, I guess this is one of those we'll never know. Remember in 2008, when the Chiefs, a team that had nothing to play for, scored a touchdown late in the game against the Chargers when I think there was no time left on the clock. Maybe there was some time left. I can't remember. And Herm Edwards was calling to go for 2, and Tyler Thigpen had an opportunity, but immediately was facing the bull rush from the moment the ball was snapped. I was hoping they would have gone for 2, but we never got an opportunity to get to that point. They're not firing Andy. Come on. You guys know that. They're not firing Andy. I'm seeing a few fire Andy comments. Matt Nagy not going to get fired unless they choose to fire him before the next game, because his contract expires on January the 5th. Chiefs are going to play January 4th against the Raiders at 1:25 Central Time. You heard it here first. And at that point, you got to look for a new offensive coordinator. Listen, I've already given you guys the on-field explanation and also the statistical explanation, just why this offense, even with 2 Super Bowl appearances, this offense just has not been good this year. And you can't blame this on, there's no Mahomes. No, none of that today. And again, you look at the Chiefs today. Yes, it was a close one against a division rival. But again, this team only scored 13 points. So this just shows you, like, not that the Chiefs were scoring a lot of points before the injuries, especially at the quarterback position, but Patrick Mahomes has masked a lot of the problems this year. Is that it for Arrowhead for this year? Yes. Moving forward, there's 5 years of Arrowhead Stadium left. After that, I don't know what's going on. I know there are politicians on the Missouri side that are trying to pass a bill that if the Chiefs are going to use that facility, then they have to pay a certain amount for demolition, which that's not going to pass. That is not going to pass. They're not firing Andy Reid, guys. Come on. That is not happening. I know the big question from this game is this Travis Kelce's final game at Arrowhead Stadium, and is next Sunday's game, is that going to be his last game of his career? Look, I've said it many times. I don't think Kelce's done. I think he wants to play one more season. He looked just fine this season. I mean, if it wasn't for the injuries, I think he would have had a good opportunity to get 1,000 receiving yards this season. I know he is very close to 13,000 receiving yards in his career. He was the Chiefs' leading receiver, 5 receptions, 36. Because I saw one comment saying, why didn't we throw to Kelce more? I mean, he got a couple of catches near the end of the game there, but he was still your leading receiver. 5 catches, 6 targets, the most from anyone on the team. Receiving yards, all that stuff. Which, again, all things considered, Chris Oladokun was your starting quarterback. 13 of 22 in this one for 66 yards. That is not good at all. But the Chiefs had a chance. And that's all you can ask for at the end of the day. That is all you can ask for. Yeah, Xavier Worthy. Let's talk about Xavier Worthy for a moment. And by the way, if you guys want to call into the podcast, the link is right there. All you got to do is click on it, turn on your audio, your video. Just wait, be patient. We'll get to you guys. I know it's a late night. Maybe you got kids asleep, or you got a lot of family over. You don't want to wake anyone up on Christmas, but go ahead, click on the link, call in, and we will get to your call shortly. And we'll continue posting the link. So if you miss it, if you've already missed it, don't worry. We'll share it as the night goes on here. Xavier Worthy, man, is there a wide receiver with that much speed, with absolutely zero awareness of the sidelines? Is there a wide receiver with this much speed that has no idea where in the bluest of blue hell he is? Listen, I think a lot of it is trying to coach a guy and get him ready for it, but because we've seen this mistake over and over again. Again, I've told you guys many times, the hill I'm willing to die on. If Eric Bieniemy was the offensive coordinator these last 3 years, I think that shit would have been figured out real fast. You know what else I thought would have been figured out real fast? I know this guy did not play today. He's on IR, but Jawan Taylor, there's no way he would have committed 55 penalties in 3 years. Name me one coaching staff in college, pro, even high school, or peewee football. What coach allows that many penalties? Okay, I know in peewee football, you don't play for the same coach 3 years in a row. High school, I mean, if you're really good and you play varsity for 3 years, you're probably not committing 55 penalties. But take the average per year. I mean, who is committing 18 penalties a season and keeping a starting job as an offensive lineman? Who? In any level? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. There's a lot this coaching staff could have done to get this offense to be better, and they haven't. With the offensive coordinator, Matt Nagy, Wide receivers coach Connor Embry, offensive line coach Andy Heck. I know Andy Heck's been the offensive line coach for a long time, but man, and look, it hasn't been for a lack of effort. They got Kingsley Suamataia in the second round. They didn't give up on him, so they change him from left tackle to left guard. They get Josh Simmons. They extend Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey. They spent a lot of money on Juwan Taylor. Juwan Taylor has good moments as a pass blocker, but my God, the inconsistencies with penalties at the worst moments too. I mean, you just cannot allow this. Andy started to look like when he was in Philly declining. It's showing badly. Listen, this is your first losing season with Andy Reid. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, now I know why Andy Reid got fired by Philly. Yeah, that's really easy to see when you're having a losing season like this. Nobody was talking about Andy Reid getting fired last year or the year before or the year before that or the one before that or the other one before that or the other 2 ones before that when they went to 7 straight AFC championship games, winning 3 Super Bowls in that span, 2 more appearances within that 7-year window. Nobody was saying anything about, oh, I know why Andy Reid got fired. No. Now, because the Chiefs have a losing season. And listen, I get it. I've said this many times. In the social media era we are in sports, there is this instant gratification that every fan base wants. It's got to be win now or you're out, because with social media now, owners hear it. Even if they're not on social media, they still hear the noise. And there's pressure on them to make these decisions. 1 or 2 losing seasons, that does it. That's enough to get a coach fired. And I just don't agree with that unless you just absolutely bomb the entire season. That's the only way it's acceptable to fire a coach after 1 season. Andy Reid's talking right now. Let me see if we can get that. Okay, we're having a tough time getting that, so apologies. We'll try to see if we can get some of the comments from Andy Reid in this press conference, but yeah, I don't know. I just don't get it with this football team. Like, there's a lot of talent, no question about it, but you've got to make some changes here. And listen, I know some people feel like you got to move on from Travis Kelce. Let's just keep one thing in mind. Travis Kelce has been your best pass catcher all year long. And listen, I don't think he's having a bad season up until that injury this year. The injuries to the quarterbacks. I thought he was well on his way to a 1,000-yard season. He's not going to get that. No way. Absolutely not going to happen. Andy Reid was asked about Travis Kelce's last game. He said, we'll talk about that another time. No injuries to report. That's good news. On an injury-riddled season like this, no injuries to report. That's it's actually nice to hear for once. Okay, I think we got Andy Reid back. Let me.
Sure. So he hasn't played a ton of running back. So all of this stuff is good for him. We're moving him all over the place. So he can handle it mentally, first of all. And that's a plus, the way we're using it. The second thing is he catches the football as well as run the football. And that helps you out down the road. Listen, he's been, I won't say a pleasant surprise, but he's done a nice job. And then he'll get stronger as he goes here, physically stronger. These guys, they always put on a little bit of weight and strength after their first year, and that'll help his game going forward there. And then the return of the team. So you got a chance to see that. So I thought he played like he was healthy. And so that Fred brought him in here knowing that. He was a good football player, but he hadn't been able to stay healthy. So he was able to get himself in a position now where he's feeling better football-wise and get himself out there and play. But that's what he's capable of doing. All right.
Okay, that was Andy Reid talking to the media after the game. One of those comments on Brashard Smith, Chris Oladokin, and was also asked about Travis Kelce possibly being his final game. David says, I don't understand why he isn't playing Pearson. Royals started the game. Royals started the game, and they didn't throw a single pass to him. What was the point of drafting this guy? Oh boy. I don't understand it. Makes no sense. I mean, this guy had some hype coming out of college. Okay, Travis Kelce speaking to the media.
You know, it's you only get a few of those where you just get to stand there and appreciate 60 to 70,000 Chiefs fans screaming for you. So I always embrace that moment, man. It's fun, and hopefully, I got everybody fired up for it.
Any extra emotions to this game?
Yeah, it's a Christmas game, baby. It's a whole lot of emotion, man. Have everybody in the world watching you. Get to go out there with a young guy like Chris Oladukin. Primetime television, excited for him, excited for the guys around us. A lot of young guys getting opportunities to, taste what this NFL life on a big stage feels like. I just wanted to get out there and get a win for those guys, man. Of course.
Secondarily, you didn't ask enough by us, and I know you were asked by Tony yesterday, the possibility that you're not. Did that ever cross your mind throughout the game?
No, the only time it ever crossed my mind is I was driving in the other day and I saw how much the Powerball was. Wouldn't have to work another day of my life. No, man. Honestly, I've been just focused on trying to win football games, man. I'll let that be a decision that I make with my family, friends, the Chiefs organization, when the time comes.
Okay. Given this is Chris's first start, I know it's a lot different than what happened Sunday in Nashville. Just how do you think he handled this responsibility, and did he sort of show you something that maybe you would not have known otherwise?
Yeah, man, it was the first time I've ever seen someone try and draw the defense to him by fumbling it. That was pretty. It was like a little yo-yo trick he put on him, man. That was the first time. No, I'm proud of him, man. Throughout the week, his attention to detail, his professionalism, his leadership. Couldn't be happier for the guy. Obviously, we wish we could have got that win for him on a big game against a rival, but I'm proud of him, man. I'm proud of the way he led us into victory and kept fighting, man.
What's the best part about playing there?
Man, I would say the tradition. You can feel it. You can feel the kids and the generations of happiness and the generations of just love that they have coming together on Sundays and cheering for their team, man. It's a beautiful thing, man. And it's something I know I'll cherish forever. Is those moments coming out of the tunnel or just making a big play for them late in the game. That's why we love Arrowhead, man. It's a special and unique stadium, especially when they started turning off the lights for us on intros, man, and making it more epic.
You're a hype man, and you keep your teammates fired up. I saw Chris, whole team gathered around him before the game. What was Chris Oladukin making his first start? How did you guys hyped up before you got to the locker room for fun?
That we're here fighting for each other. I think he had the right message to be, we're a team, no matter what this record is, we're out here fighting for each other. You're going to wear the Chiefs arrowhead on your helmet and come out here in a red jersey in front of this crowd, man. You're going to give it your all. And he was just making sure everybody knew that he was ready for a dogfight and that he was going to lead us into victory, or lead us into the game.
You said it's standard here for pretty much over a decade. How much do you embrace these guys?
Man, it's something that I take as like second nature at this point, man. I've followed big Coach Andy Reid, baby, and he's done it the right way. He's done it with integrity. He's done it with a lot of love and a lot of care for the people around him, not only just players but coaches as well. You guys have seen his just the coaches underneath go other places, have success, and he tries to build everybody, make everybody the best possible player, coach, or whatever their position is in the building. And it's just second nature to me at this point, following his lead, making sure that I'm doing everything I can to keep everybody focused, locked in, having fun, and trying to win football games, man.
Travis, you described it. You remember the first time you felt that? You felt part of that?
Okay, I think the questions are starting to get a little repetitive there with Travis Kelce. Is just kind of going down memory lane with him. Kelce is really upbeat. And he was talking about whether or not this could be his last game at Arrowhead when he saw the $1.8 billion Powerball from last night. That was funny. And listen, Kelsey's a guy who takes losses real hard. He really does. I mean, he's hard on himself. I'm sure he's hard on his teammates behind closed doors. Dude, he's out here cracking jokes, talking about memory lane and how much he loves Arrowhead and all these things. I don't want to overlook things or maybe look too much into it, but man, I think that's an indicator he's done. And listen, what do you have to play for? You've won 3 championships. You have broken all kinds of records in your NFL career, man. I mean, if he really wants to come back and do it one more time, wants to run it back one more time, go for it. More power to him. But I don't think he has much to play for. I mean, this guy's had a hell of a career. So we'll see what ends up happening there. If he says anything significant, I'll share it later on. But for now, it just seems like he's talking to the media. Let's go to Daniel here, hitting lead off on the phone lines. Daniel, you are up on the Chiefs Zone podcast. Merry Christmas. How are you, sir?
Hey, Merry Christmas, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I found it funny. Chris Jones was talking before the game that said we have to eliminate the mistakes, and he's the one that cost it. But he was also, I think, he lined up off sides again. I mean, if he doesn't jump, I think he probably lined up. But I was rooting for Chris Oladokun. I really wanted him to win. I mean, I'm like everybody else. I want a better draft pick. But then when you get into the team, you're watching the game, you're like, I want this kid to win. I want this kid to do good. And he did. I mean, he didn't do great, but he didn't do bad. I mean,
all things considered, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't turn the ball. He didn't have a turnover. As far as Travis Kelce goes, I was looking in his eyes, and I'm with you. I said, I don't know if he's going to come back. I don't know if we can afford him unless he takes a pay cut. I kept teasing people. I was like, you know what? This little boy that was dressed in the Cleveland Brown jersey won't be shocking if he signs a 1-year deal with the Cleveland Browns just to play with the Cleveland Browns. I mean, just to say, hey, but I don't know if you would want to do that because, I mean, what are you playing for other than the love of the game?
I don't think you would.
Yeah, I don't for the love of the game. But, as far as this team goes, it was obviously a disappointing year. I really think we need a slot receiver. We need a big guy, somebody big to go down the middle, and we need the defense was bend but don't break, and they finally broke. But I said we're lucky enough to score 13. I was like, I told a friend, I said we're lucky enough if we score 14 points on this defense. I just didn't think their offense was only going to score 20 points. Yeah. I thought it was going to be like a real blowout, but like I said, this team is great. As far as Andy Reid's not going anywhere. I read he signed a 5-year extension last year. So he's under contract till 2029. So he's not getting fired. As long as Mahomes is playing quarterback, he's staying. He's not good. He's going to leave when Mahomes decides to call it, or 5 years from now. But anyways, I just want to say again, another great year. Have fun at the game. It's always good to beat the Raiders, especially if it's the last game of the year. Let's beat the Raiders. I mean, let's get them the number 1 pick so they can finally celebrate to win something.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Daniel, I got to cut you off. I appreciate it. Chris Jones is talking to the media right now. Let's listen in.
Yeah, I can't do that. But yeah, this happened over the year. We'll get better.
I'm ready to watch the season away and focus on that off-season process.
Listen, man, we got one more game left. It's like we got to focus on it now. You got to be where your feet at. You got to be present. You still got areas you can get better in to close the season. You know what I mean? And then we got a lot of young guys playing who's broadcasting their talent. So I don't think you can look at off season now when the season is over with. Then you can analyze your play. Then look at areas you can get better in. This game is something to us. I mean, we're out there playing. Still another opportunity to play the game we love. It's unfortunate that we're not fighting for playoff positioning right now. But we'll be back. We'll be back. So this year taught us a lot of valuable lessons as a team, and we're going to continue to build off of that.
I want to ask about the guys too.
Okay, I'm going to cut it off right there. Chris Jones just said right there, this season has taught us a lot of valuable lessons. Listen, I think the only valuable lesson this team needed was that whooping they got 10 months ago. You don't need additional lessons. But listen, what's happened has happened. You can't change the past. Man, I don't know who's going to be back next year. I don't know if Kelsey's going to be back. I don't know if McDuffie's going to be back. Mahomes will. Will he be ready week 1? I don't know. What about a guy like Chris Jones? I mean, this guy has not necessarily played well up to his contract. I think if they have that strong presence next to him at the defensive tackle spot, and I do think Omar Norman-Lott is that guy if he stays healthy. Unfortunately, he had a couple of injuries this season. One was a season-ending ACL injury. That all matters. It absolutely matters. It absolutely does. Hey, I want to hear from you guys. Appreciate Daniel calling in, and apologies for having to cut him off shortly there. I know it was the tail end of his comments there. We did want to get to the Chris Jones comments. If he says anything significant that we don't end up playing live, then we will we'll just share it with you guys shortly. So the link is right there for you guys. Just click on it, turn on your audio, your video, put in your name, and let's chat it up here. If you guys want to call in, lines are open right now, and we can discuss whatever's on your mind. You want to talk about this game? You want to talk about the season next week? The Chiefs moving to Kansas? I know a lot of you guys have been talking about that in the chat tonight. Whatever is on your mind, let us know. Must free agent is Kyle Pitts. Yeah, a lot of people want Kyle Pitts in Kansas City. We'll see. Chris Jones on the possibility of this being Travis Kelce's last game at Arrowhead. Damn, man. We've been through so much together. I hope he gives it one more year, just one more year. Okay, so there is Chris Jones campaigning for Travis Kelce to play one more year. We'll see, I guess. I mean, listen, he's 36. He'll be 37 next October, I think it is. So certainly some decisions, certainly some things to think about for Travis Kelce. I mean, if he comes back, he's not going to do it for the money, but I know he's not going to play for charitable reasons. He's going to want to get paid, right? And rightfully so. I mean, he was severely underpaid for a long time in Kansas City. He was always willing to play for less. You cannot cut Chris Jones. He's got way too hefty of a contract. He's got way too big of a contract to not. Did Hunt get booed? I don't think so. They don't introduce the owners at the game. He was on the field before the game, didn't appear. If he got booed at any point, I think it would have gone viral in a video. Yeah, a couple of guys have been asking about Noah Gray. We just haven't seen much of Noah Gray this season, and that's been a big surprise. Like, what has Noah Gray done? He had that really tough catch against Indianapolis earlier this year. I can't remember if it was in the fourth quarter or in overtime. I want to say it was in the fourth quarter, but what has he done this season? He has 17 catches for 146 yards this year. Last year, he had 40 catches, 437 yards, and 5 touchdown grabs, which is not bad for a backup tight end. He had the 2 weeks in a row where he had 2 touchdown catches against Buffalo and against Carolina. So he certainly made some noise a little bit last year as a backup tight end, but we have not seen much of him this year. And I think that I was expecting a big step forward for him. I really was. Yeah, fans filled up the stadium, Ryan says. That's the thing with this game, man. And they showed the crowd several times, not just, a close-up of, whoever's sitting front row, just a couple of fans. They showed wide shots of the stadium. It was packed. No Patrick Mahomes, third-string quarterback, a lot of other players injured as well. Some fan favorites whose seasons have come to an end, like Trent McDuffie, like Rashee Rice, who are on IR. And the team has a losing record. They're out of the playoffs. There were even some threats this year of fandoms that are going to change. No, fans showed up today, man. And fans showed up last week, too, in Nashville. I mean, probably, and listen, I get it. A lot of people probably purchased their tickets before the season because this was expected to be a marquee game. And listen, I guess this ended up being far more entertaining than anyone could have expected. I certainly thought this is going to be a blowout win for the Broncos. I did get Kansas City score. I said 31-13. I got the 13 correct. Was way off on the Denver score there, but I just feel like, you gotta show up for your fans, and the Chiefs did not do that this season, which is unfortunate. Everyone in here saying cut this player obviously doesn't understand how the salary cap works. Yeah, that's the interesting part of fan bases is why do you think they've held on to Taylor this long? Yeah, that's a great point. They would have gotten rid of him much sooner if they could have. Now, why have they been playing him more? That certainly is a much more valid question. I think the Chargers beat the Donks next week. I don't. Listen, I know I keep writing off the Chargers, but man, at some point, that offensive line is going to come back to bite them. They've done well without some key guys on the offensive line. Slater, Alt, one or two more who I'm forgetting. But, I mean, at some point, I do think it's going to catch up to them, especially when you play a team like Houston this weekend and Denver next weekend. In my opinion, the defenses, the two best defenses and the two defenses that have the best defensive fronts. So we'll see. Playoff ratings will be lower without KC. Well, you're probably not going to get a lot of Swifties watching games, so probably. Okay, so we were in the middle of talking about this, and I do see your comment, Max Shan, about not playing Jalen Royals in this one. We were caught off because of the press conferences here. I see Chris Oladokun talking, but I don't think there's much that's really too interesting. No disrespect, but there's just not much we really need from him. I don't understand what's going on with Jalen Royals. You draft this guy, and when Rashee Rice got suspended, I remember some talk about how, this guy might be able to fill in and do well for Rice while he's away. There's one game left, and you still have not thrown one single pass to Jalen Royals. Not one. Not one. Now, he missed the first couple of games due to knee tendonitis. And then, he came back. He was active finally for games. And I remember in that Giants game, they were using him a lot in pre-snap motion and everything, but they just are not using him. Just makes no sense to me. Listen, I've always been a big proponent. Practice highlights are great, but that is far from anything that is worth putting stock into, because you got to find a way how to have the practice hype go into the preseason and how the preseason hype carries over to the regular season. You know who did that this year? Tyquan Thornton. Unfortunately, the Chiefs decided not to use him much. You know who was balling out in training camp this year? Jalen Royals. That guy had probably the most impressive training camp, one that nobody expected. But we never saw it in the preseason due to injuries. He missed the first few weeks because of injuries, and we just never saw him in the regular season get targeted, not once. And there's one game left. I like Thor too. And you see what's going to go with the cap thing. I mean, listen, if you're Tyquan Thornton, who, by the way, was sitting with Patrick Mahomes and Gardner Minshew in the suite tonight, dude, if you're Tyquan Thornton, do you want to come back? I mean, I hope he comes back. And listen, I actually want Hollywood Brown back as well. But I know you're not going to get everybody back. You're just not. Especially with the salary cap right now. Somebody was asking earlier how much they're paying Hollywood Brown. I think he signed a 1-year deal worth $15 million. So, to me, I think you got to go with the younger guy, Tyquan Thornton, who, by the way, it's not like he was utilized heavily in New England or even this year in Kansas City. So there's a lot of tread left in those tires, especially at his age. I mean, he still has a lot to give in his NFL career. So use him. He's been with the team for more than a year now. So he has a really good understanding of the offense by this point. Just use him. He's averaging 23 yards a catch, more than anyone in the NFL. And I'm not counting guys who only have like 1 or 2 receptions and they both happen to be for, I don't know, big, massive plays. I'm not counting those. I'm counting guys that have had actually a significant number of receptions this season. And Tyquan played a lot in the first 3 games before Worthy's return. And it just diminished and diminished and diminished, especially when Rice came back. I was expecting his playing time to go down. I just didn't expect, for him to just not get used almost ever again. And whenever he was used, it's like, this guy's making plays. Hollywood is so average. Listen, man, Austin, I disagree. Statistically, yeah, he doesn't look great, but I still put it on the offensive scheme, man. I really do. Like the talent you have at the wide receiver position there's so much potential there. I am going to die on that hill 100%. But you've got to get a better offensive coordinator that'll get on guys to run better routes. Same with the wide receivers coach. Embry's got to go too. That's just the way I feel about it. Need a big body receiver. The gadget and speed guys ain't working. Again, I don't disagree, Wes, but I still put it up to scheming, coaching, all of that stuff. Listen, it's not a coincidence that when the Chiefs had a different offensive coordinator and a different wide receivers coach in 2023, this all changed. You had the same wide receivers in 2023 from 2022. Kadarius Toney joined the team mid-season in 2022, and you lost Juju, and you drafted Rice. That was the only thing different about your wide receiver room. You had almost all the same guys back, and suddenly Sky Moore, KT, MVS, Watson, they're dropping passes in 2023. It made no sense. And listen, MVS was coming into Kansas City knowing well that he had drop issues in Green Bay. We didn't see that MVS in 2022. We saw an MVS that actually looked good. So I don't know, man. There's a lot to figure out. I really hope they don't retain Matt Nagy. Look, he's not getting hired by Tennessee. Yes, I know Mike Borgonzi and him are boys, but there's no way in hell the owner of the Tennessee Titans, considering they just hosted the Chiefs, even with a backup quarterback and a third string quarterback, there's no way he looks at that and does not tell Borgonzi, you better not hire that guy. There's no way you can hire that guy. I mean, look, I think it's already dumb enough they fired Vrabel, but that's a topic for another time. Hey, if you guys want to call in, lines are open. I guess a lot of people got to keep it quiet for Christmas tonight. And listen, I think a lot of the things that we've been talking about over the last couple of weeks are kind of on repeat right now. So I guess there's not too much to say. Otherwise, we do have some breaking news here. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this. We got a double bingo for the first time this season. We got a double bingo. How about that? So the diagonal was Oladokin throws a touchdown pass. That happened. Clark Hunt shown on TV. Clark Hunt's never shown on TV. Obviously, this week was a special week. The free space, Taylor Swift was shown, and then the Nagy head coaching rumors. And then the other one was the list of Chiefs injuries. Chris Jones getting a sack. People complaining about the refs. Yes, people still complain about the refs for the Chiefs games. They do. Taylor Swift was shown, and then the cameras following Travis Kelce on the sideline. So we're still getting that. We're still getting a lot of that. Hey, if you guys want to call in, the link is right there. Just click on the link, turn on your audio, your video, and let's hear from you. Let's go to Bob. Bob is joining us here on this Christmas postgame show. Merry Christmas, Bob. How are you?
Merry Christmas to you, Fars, and to the kingdom out there. Man, I tell you, this team has quit, man. It's done, man. I mean, the defense played pretty well as long as they stayed in the zone. Played zone defense, but man, when they started running the ball at us, man, shit went crazy. They got a couple cheap, I call them cheap touchdowns. They controlled the clock. That line of scrimmage that Broncos team has, man, is a real good team, and they played well. I'm not real. I don't know what's happened to their defense. I think our line held up pretty good, considerably. I don't think he got sacked, but one time?
No, he did not get sacked. I think there was one time where he went down on his own.
Yeah, I think
he was in trouble. But yeah, just one sack.
Yeah, he got in trouble a couple times and he got out of it. But
yeah.
So maybe they look past us. Sometimes good talent just looks past. Looking past the Chiefs. They're not worried about them no more. They got no big guns in there. People are not playing to their full potential. It's really it's sad. It's hard on us that's loved this team so much, and there's no accountability yet. So um, I think we're going to see that at the end. I don't think Andy's style is to do it in the mid-season, man, on anything. So we'll have to see how they attack this thing in the off season here, and it's coming pretty soon.
Yeah.
So we should know something. I think going to. I'm not sure they can beat the Raiders, man. So you
I
know,
am really eager to see the over/under for that game. That might be an all-time low.
I mean, it's sad. It really is. It makes tears come to my eyes, man. And I think that I think the kid needs to get back to the practice squad, if you want my opinion.
Yeah.
He just don't know enough about the pro game, man,
Yeah.
and it shows, But I think that they need to start with both lines in the off season, and because that's where the games are won. And I really thought we had a pretty fair offensive line, with the exception of 74 over there making some penalties
Yeah.
throughout the season, and then injuries hit us, man, again.
Yeah.
And it seems to be an ongoing problem for us. So, and then all these guys, man, getting hurt here at the end. I was always told when you play football, you practice hard, and this prevents you from having. I think we've got too many games, man. They're playing in the NFL now. I think 17, the number 17, man, just seems to be. I mean, you look throughout the whole league, man. This is seems to be really wear and tear on these guys, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
we're starting to get Super Bowls into mid-February now. Listen, I like the 16 game format with only, because now they're playing an extra NFC team or an AFC team, depending which side you're on. And then, yeah, these seasons do, because I always like it when the season ends right before New Year's or maybe on the day of New Year's Eve, and then you got the playoffs after that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, listen, it's got to change to 18 games. It'll be 18 games real soon.
that's going to be crazy. They're going to have to do something, man. Make the rosters bigger or something. Make cap space even larger. So
Yeah, that's a good point.
they got a lot of things to do before they go to that. And then we all got to for us Missouri people, we had a bad week, man. It's a sad day.
Yeah.
And I've been a loyal fan forever, and I'll probably have to get over this and lick my wounds. But man, I'm wounded right now.
But Bob, here's the thing. Like, and listen, there are so many reasons why this did not work in Missouri, and we've gone over that.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah, and I'm not saying you don't. I know you do. But the other thing is, it's like, look, I will not understand this Kansas Missouri thing. Yeah, what happened many years ago was back then. Here's my thing: as long as they stayed in the area, because if Kansas was not willing to fork over all this money, which is insanity, guess what? Another city was going to.
Yeah, you're probably right. But it would have been better for them to leave the area, I think, than to sit here and rub salt in our wounds. So that's the way I look at it. And
All
and
right.
the politicians of this state, our county, and that Jackson County. I don't live in Jackson County. I live in Clay. Uh,
Okay.
and I thought Clay County had a shot at getting the Royals over there in North Kansas City. But that looks like that's going to the side too. So
Well, I think North KC is still in play. Listen, Washington Square Park is not a feasible location. There have even been politicians that have spoke out against it. The interim commissioner who's replacing Frank White, he has spoke against Washington Square Park. The only person who thinks they're going to Washington Square Park is the mayor, and that's not happening.
and I got one more thing here, man.
Sure.
It's about Travis Kelsey.
Yeah.
I think the boy comes back for one more season and
Okay.
plays with Patty one more time, and I think he stays as long as he wants to stay because the guy, we owe him that. He's gave us so much. He's gave us so much on the field, man. And now I don't know that if he gets where he can't play, but tonight, I mean when when they throw the ball to him, man, he's ready, man. He's making plays,
Yeah.
and I don't see no continuous letdown on him. If anything, he's the leader on the field with these young guys. So, and Coach Reed, man, he brought us 3 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Hank Stram only brought us 1, and they still celebrate his celebrations for
Yeah.
50 years. You know, so I say Reed stays as long as he wants to too. And I got it on a 5-year plan, man. We're gonna
All
see
right.
where it goes from there, brother.
Okay.
Anyway, hey, good talking to you. Hope Santa
Appreciate it.
Claus was good to you.
Thank
And
you.
I'll check in with you later.
All right. Appreciate it, Bob. Thank you. Take care. Real quickly, a couple things. The Kelsey thing, again, we just got to see the salary cap. Let me just say one thing about the Kansas-Missouri situation. I know the governor of Missouri is not quitting yet on the Chiefs. He's saying he's not giving up until they start backing up the moving trucks. And I know the mayor even echoed what the governor said. Mayor Quentin Lucas, that is. Let me just say one quick thing on that. And I reached out to someone who is very familiar with this entire situation. They have confirmed to me that it's not over till it's over. In other words, it's actually not official that they're in Kansas. Yes, they did a whole press conference basically popping champagne bottles, figuratively. But they did dismiss, like, it's unlikely they go back to Missouri. So just for what that's worth to you guys, just take that for what that's worth to you guys. We'll discuss all of that more later in the week. I think a lot of people just want to focus on the game for now. And by the way, quick reminder before we go to Brad, there will not be a post-game podcast next week. I will be at the game. I will try to pop in an hour or two after the game when I get back to the hotel to do a quick live stream. But don't expect, one right away where you guys can call in. So there will not be a post-game podcast. There will not be any kind of a live stream next Sunday because I'll be in Vegas for the game. So this is the last post-game podcast. However, next, and I don't know exactly the date, and I'll try to figure that out real quickly. Let me actually check out when do I get back, what time my flight is, because I would like to do a post recap show. I think we can do it on Monday. Yeah, unless, I have a major flight delay, we can do a post-game or a postseason recap on Monday after the regular season ends, and we'll allow phone calls for that podcast. So just a heads up there. All right, Brad's been waiting very patiently. What's up, Brad? Thanks for waiting. Merry Christmas.
Oh, hey, thanks. Glad to be here. Face for radio and a voice for silent film, but glad to be on.
Oh, I thought you were talking about me.
No, me.
Oh, okay. Well, two of us. How about that?
Yeah, that's fair.
Right.
Yeah, you have the successful podcast though, so we'll let that run.
Oh, thank you.
I wanted to talk a little bit about first of all, the showing out by the defense. You're talking about a Broncos team that has come in and has been pretty dominant right up until they ran into the Jaguars. Kind of feels good to notice that the defense could put up what they did against the Broncos after the Jaguars, kind of housed us a little bit. But more importantly, aside from Chris Jones being D Ford 2.0, a lot of the guys, they did a great job. I mean, you're talking about Chamari Connor when he's in the safety role as opposed to trying to play slot corner all the damn time. He shows out. Noel Williams. Can we talk about Noel Williams as a rookie showing all kinds of talent, almost Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed levels of talent in his rookie year. That's one of the few rookies that they've actually let get on the field and actually do something. Cook as safety. I mean, the defense is actually pretty solid as it stands, aside from the front four. But
there was no Trent McDuffie, no Jalen Watson today too.
Yeah, and Jalen Watson was a surprise to me. I thought I didn't realize that he was hurt. So when they announced he was going to be put on IR, I was like, okay, this is fun. But it worked. And honestly, the offense itself wasn't completely inept. But once again, we saw I think the same thing that we've seen all season long, which is the play calling and the scheming and everything else, isn't doing the quarterback any favors. It's, if you're up under center, you're running you're going to run the ball. Maybe you're going to do a pass play action, but most likely you're running the ball, and it's going to be guard tackle or center guard gap, one side or the other. It's just gotten so predictable that Oladokin did a great job with what he had.
I agree.
I don't know what else you could do at that point, but anyway, it's just one of those. This was one of those games where I looked at it and I thought we should not have been in it as long as we were, let alone leading at one point in time. So I don't know. I mean, I saw a lot of people that are like, Worthy needs to be cut, this kind of thing. No, Worthy's not being utilized the way he needs to be utilized. That jet sweep stuff that they do with him, that's not his jam. He needs to be deep in routes or something like that, as opposed to these. He's not Tyreek Hill. He never has been, and they're trying to make him fill that role, and I don't think it works for him.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think when you have a guy that talented, and I know a lot of people say, oh, he's not even a football player, he's just fast. No, he is a good football player. He had a good career at Texas. This guy was projected to go in the second round, and then when he broke that combine record for fastest 40 time, he started getting some looks in the first round as well. I think he's got potential, but no, I agree with you. And listen, I think part of it is Patrick Mahomes not being accurate with the deep passes, which, again, I don't think it's a major coincidence that it's happening so much these last couple of years with a whole new offensive coaching staff. There's a lot that, and I don't think Connor Embry as a wide receivers coach helps at all. I really don't. And Todd Pinkston as a running backs coach, that doesn't make sense either. I think he should be the wide receivers coach, but that's just my opinion. There's a lot they've got to figure out. And listen, I think if they can bring in a better offensive coaching staff, and I think Andy Reid really needs to drop his loyalties and seriously start considering that, I do think you're going to see a difference with this football team. Look, this is going to be because the Chiefs have an early off season now. I guess the silver lining is you can get to working on your coaching staff. So if there's an offensive coordinator you really, really want, whether you want to reunite with Peterson, Kafka, Bieniemy, whoever that is, or if there's someone else you really want, you have the luxury of kind of getting first dibs on them, if you will. So I'm eager to see who the offensive coordinator is going to be in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to. Everybody floats Bieniemy's name, and it's like that's great, but I want to see somebody a little bit new. Kafka did a lot with nothing in New York with the Giants, and I think with the talent that we have, he can do a lot more in Kansas City. I'd rather see him as opposed to Bieniemy because and again, I have nothing to back this up, but I think he's a little bit more of he has a little bit more on the accountability side. That's the thing that I've been banging the drum for 2 years now about Nagy and freaking Embry. How in the hell does Connor Embry even get hired as an wide receivers coach when he's never played the position, for crying out loud, when you've got Todd Pinkston right there?
Do you want to know the answer? Do you want to know the answer, Brad?
It's called nepotism.
There's a connection. His father, as I'm sure you may know, and some may not. And Tony Gonzalez's last couple of years in Kansas City, the tight ends coach was John Embry. That is Connor Embry's father. And his brother Taylor Embry also coaches. His uncle also coached in the NFL. I don't know who his uncle is, but that's why. Yeah. And the funny thing is, I mean, if they'd left him maybe on the defensive side of the ball, which is where he was before he became the wide receivers coach, that would have been fine. But it's less about him being a coach than what he's coaching. Yeah. What the hell? So, anyway, but still, I mean, you saw Nagy, and this is the thing I've been banging on for at least the last 2 years. You saw what Nagy did to Trubisky in Chicago. And the last couple of years, the offense here, you see what Nagy's doing to Mahomes. The problem isn't the play calling or anything like that. The problem is when Bieniemy was there, Bieniemy was you hear call,
You have talent. Make the play call. If the play doesn't work, figure it out. You've got the talent. Nagy, I've noticed on more than one occasion, especially coming out of a timeout, Reed will look at Mahomes and go make the play. And then you've got Nagy coming up, running up at the last second, being like, yada, 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 yada. I think Mahomes is so overwhelmed with information from Nagy that he's being taken out of his natural talents, his natural abilities to see the field and make the play based off of what he sees. Because Nagy's in his ear up until he can't be. And that's just my opinion, but
okay. That's an interesting observation. I've never noticed that. I can't say I have, and I'm curious if anyone in the chats have noticed that. I know there's a lot of things happening. Yeah, Nagy gets involved, Reed gets involved. I mean, I would imagine the OC's got to get involved at some point, but the way you described it, no, that's interesting. I've never noticed that.
Yeah, it was 2 or 3 games ago. I noticed it specifically. It was a third down and oh God, I wish I could remember what game it was, but it was a 3rd and 4. And, you get in a 3rd and short and we're immediately like, oh God, here we go. But I remember seeing Reed coming out of the timeout, and he slapped Mahomes with with his play sheet, gave him the little Reed shove and said, all right, go do it. And then as Mahomes is walking off, you see Nagy go, wait, and call him back. And I'm like, oh God, here we freaking go.
No, that's interesting. Okay.
And I've seen it happen a few times, not a whole lot, but a few times. And it makes me wonder if, Nagy's not thinking a little bit too hard and causing Mahomes to overthink. And when Mahomes overthinks, he gets happy feet and bailing, does what he does.
Interesting. Okay. That's a good observation. Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it, Brad. Thanks for calling in. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Maybe they're overthinking things. You know what I've been saying for a long time? I think they overcomplicate a lot of things. Throwing on short yardage situations, it doesn't make sense. And by the way, I appreciate those who've called in. If you guys want to call in, hey, we're still going to stick around. We'll still talk for a bit. And by the way, I see a couple of people mentioning Alex Smith as a potential offensive coordinator. First of all, he would need to go be a coaching intern first, and then he would have to transition to being a quality control coach, and then a position coach, and then maybe an OC. Then you don't just give a guy that's never coached immediately the offensive coordinator position. And then a different Brad commented, Alex Smith is not leaving a media gig for a 100-hour-a-week job. 100%. Listen, I know John Gruden has expressed a lot of interest in the past in wanting to get another chance at being a coach. But, dude, I'll tell you what. What do you think is more fun for John Gruden? And I don't know how old John Gruden is, 50, 60, somewhere around there. What do you think is more fun for John Gruden right now? Doing 100 hours a week coaching, or talking and shooting the shit with Barstool Sports? Whatever your opinion of Barstool Sports is, your opinion. But dude, John Gruden, go watch some of John Gruden's analysis on Barstool's YouTube page. Dude, he is great at what he does. And he was doing this with ESPN before he came back to coaching, doing it with the Raiders. I mean, this guy knows what the hell he's talking about. He was the highest paid sports broadcaster at one point, before it was Tony Romo, and then before it was Tom Brady. Like, the way he breaks down everything is phenomenal. Could he be a great coach again? Yes. But he's probably making less money, still a lot of money, but less money than coaching. But damn, man, he is having a lot of fun doing what he does. And look, and I appreciate those who compliment the podcast and all that. Listen, I used to work in the media, and not on a national level, but on a local level, but it's not too much different in terms of the amount of time you have to put in. And the pay is, just because you're with ESPN doesn't mean it's great. Now, if you're John Gruden or Tom Brady or Tony Romo, they'll pay you handsomely for sure. but they're not gonna pay, you know. I don't know if you guys remember a couple of years ago, ESPN had a bunch of layoffs a couple of years, and I put out a graphic listing the salaries of everyone that got let go. Some people were actually surprised by some of the salaries. Everyone assumes that every single person at ESPN is making a six-figure salary, at least, and that's not the case. When you do a medium like podcasts, blogging, live streaming, dude, that can be a lot more fun than what you see on ESPN and FS1. And don't get me wrong, some of the content you see on those networks are great, but there's a lot more freedom and flexibility doing what I do and what other podcasters do. So I think Gruden is having a lot of fun. Jeff Saturday was given a head coaching job, yes. And there was only one team he beat. You know who that one team was? The Raiders. Unfortunately for Saturday, it didn't go well after that, and he went back to his ESPN seat, which was weird, by the way. That was your interim coach decision Saturday? That was very weird. I mean, listen, I don't know if Saturday's opened up about any of this. You went from your media job to coaching, head coaching. The lifestyle change in that had to have been a massive shock. I'd be curious to know if Jeff Saturday's ever talked about that at any time since the departure from the Colts as a coach. Yeah, I would take Gruden too. Gruden would be a great head coach, but I think, well, Jason, that's kind of you. I love you guys as well. Gruden would be a great head coach. I just feel like, Ursay was high. I just feel like he's having way more fun doing what he does now. That's why I was surprised Herm Edwards left ESPN for the San Diego job. Anytime somebody in the media leaves their job to go back to head coaching or even being an executive, it shocks the hell out of me. So we'll see what he does. Yeah, Antonio Pierce, he's been doing some media as well. He has a lot of insight on the Raiders, and he always has interesting commentary on the Raiders. That's for sure on CBS. Bob says I would love for him to join Andy too. That Andy steps down, Gruden could replace him. Yeah, I think some people have wondered if that could be a possibility, especially since he was here in Kansas City, not this past training camp, but the training camp before for a couple of days, just to kind of work with some of the guys on the offensive and defensive side of the football. Yeah, I would love to see that, but I don't know if he would be interested in being an assistant coach. That's the one caveat. So we'll see what he decides to do moving forward. All right. How about this? Last call for calls. If you guys want your opportunity to call in, this is your last time to do so. Again, a reminder, there will not be a post-game podcast next week because I will be at the game. I will try to do a live stream of some sort an hour or two after the game. Just depends on when I get back to my hotel. And I'll just chime in for about 10 to 15 minutes just to chat with you guys and recap that game. It'll be very short, but nonetheless, I think on Monday, January the 5th, I'll be home, and that night we can do a postseason podcast recapping Kansas City season, and we'll open up the phone lines for you guys to call in. Farzine, go be a coach. Dude, I'd be calling like all these Wildcat plays. You know what disappoints me? And I had the opportunity to meet Blake Bell this year, and I asked him about it. He didn't want to say too much, which I completely respect and understand because he knows a lot of the guys that are still on the team. But I straight up asked him, I'm like, dude, you were a solid quarterback at Oklahoma. As a Jayhawk, like you whipped our ass. Was there any like possibility of you being a Wildcat quarterback in this offense? And he's like, yeah, you know, it was a thing. But he didn't go into detail with that too much. So I don't know, man. It's weird. It really is weird. Farzine, I appreciate everything you've done. Is there an update on doing a podcast in front of a live audience? Man, you guys have been asking about that. See, I asked you guys a couple of weeks ago if this is something you'd be interested in. And you know, I was just getting feelers just to see, you know, where we were going to go with that. By the way, people have been asking a couple of times since then, has there been an update on that? We don't really, you can't get an update too fast, especially this time of year when people are busy with the holidays and all. I will say this: I am in discussion with a group, and by the way, there are actually a couple of restaurants that did reach out to me, but the problem is they're not in the Kansas City area. So I'm not going to go into further detail than that, but hey, maybe we'll explore an option where we even do things outside of the KC area, like going to Wichita, Manhattan, Lawrence, Columbia. Just kind of depends, where the demand is for all of that. Because I know a lot of you guys live in Kansas City, but a lot of you guys live in areas in Kansas and Missouri. So we'll have to figure that out. But I can tell you, we're talking to somebody right now, and it's in the Kansas City area, and it would be in downtown Kansas City. But there are a lot of logistics we're figuring out because of the date and the event around it. I can't go into any more detail than that because a lot of things are unofficial right now. There are a lot of things on my end that I need to make sure, because if we're going to do this, we got to do it right. And listen, I get when you do something for a first time, nothing's going to go smooth. But I still want it to go as perfect as possible because that's just the kind of person I am. So bring your podcast to Kansas, just like Joe had to go there. But yes, we are working on something for this off season, so please be patient. I will definitely let you guys know. I hope it happens. I would be excited to do so. I know a lot of you guys have been asking to do a meet and greet, which I don't do, but a lot of you guys want to meet me in person and would definitely be glad to meet some of you guys. So if we can make that happen, we'll certainly put that together, and I'll definitely let you guys know right away. So I appreciate the question. That just shows me you guys are very much interested in that. And I see the comments responding. People are even suggesting bars. Listen, I can't just invite myself to a bar and say, or a restaurant and say, hey, doing a podcast here. And listen, I've never done this before. I know a lot of high profile, popular podcasts, they do this kind of thing. And I absolutely have no familiarity with any of that. So we are learning as we're trying to put this all together. So there's a lot to figure out. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. I appreciate you guys on tonight's podcast. It hasn't been a great season, but as far as the podcast and the content goes, it's been insanity. By the way, if you guys haven't had a chance already, please make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. I'm going to comment with the link right now. It is youtube.com/@thechiefzone. If you're already subscribed, greatly appreciate it. Please share it with a friend. Let them know if you don't think they're subscribed, and get them to hop on and subscribe to the podcast. There it is. There is the link right there for you guys. But if you haven't already, please subscribe to it and let a friend know. Also, the social media has been off the chart. Obviously, this has been an insane week for the Kansas City Chiefs, which is great for content purposes. I know some people aren't happy, some are thrilled. And then, you go back to the game, the actual football, and people are not happy again, but they kind of are because of tanking and whatnot. But it has generated, we were at 171,000 followers. We have had 2,000 new followers just today. We have these spurts sometimes, and then it goes quiet. We'll still have growth, but it won't be as big. But man, days like this certainly mean, especially on Christmas. Of all days, Christmas is when we have old videos that go viral again. So it's been an awesome season. I say this every year. Yes, I know. I'll address the shirt thing tomorrow. You guys have been asking. I need to ask my family because they got it for me. I don't know. They got it for me last year's Christmas, so I'll figure it out for you guys. Thank you guys. This has been an awesome season. This is our final post-game show of the season, but we are not done with podcasting. Hey, come back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Central Time, Red Friday Q&A live chat. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about. I know you guys have more questions. Bring them tomorrow. I'm sure we'll have a lot to discuss with the Chiefs, with the team moving to Kansas in a few years, and more that can come up. And then this weekend, there won't be any live streams unless there's breaking news of some sort. Next week, we'll have a podcast on Monday and on Wednesday. Those will be our last two podcasts and live streams. There will not be a Red Friday Q&A live chat next Friday. That's when I'll be leaving for Vegas. And then we'll be back next Monday, and we will do our Monday the 5th, that is. We will do a post-season podcast show. We will recap the season and discuss what needs to happen moving forward. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. You guys have been awesome this season. Tonight, last week, every week this season. It's been a pleasure doing this podcast once again. My name is Farzin Vasugian. Merry Christmas to all of you. For those who are working, props to you all. Hopefully you get some downtime in the coming days. If you're going to be traveling in the coming days, if you're going to be spending more Christmas parties this week, be safe, have fun. I will talk to you all tomorrow for the Red Friday Q&A live chat, 5 p.m. Central Time. Talk to you all then.